was high over the city of Kapilavastu, casting long silver shadows across the silk curtains of a royal bedchamber. Inside, a young prince named Siddhartha stood in perfect silence. He looked at his sleeping wife and his newborn son, their breathing soft and rhythmic. Outside the door, a world of gold, power, and absolute security waited for him. He was a man who had everything. Yet, at that moment, the palace felt like a burning house. He knew that if he stayed, he would be living a lie. In the dead of night, he crossed the threshold, walked past the sleeping guards, and rode into the dark forest. He wasn't running away from his life. He was running toward the truth. To understand why Siddhartha had to leave, you have to understand the prison his father had built for him. King Suddhodana was terrified by a prophecy that his son would become a spiritual leader instead of a great king. So he built a world of artificial perfection. He surrounded the prince with youth, beauty, and luxury. He banned the sight of old age, sickness, and death from the palace grounds. He gave his son total external control. But this perfect life was built on a foundation of denial. Siddhartha's departure is the ultimate lesson in awakening, the realization that you cannot find peace by hiding from reality. The turning point came during his 4 secret trips outside the palace walls. For the first time, he saw an old man, a sick man, and a corpse. The shock was visceral. He realized the law of impermanence, that everything we love, everything we hold on to, and even our own bodies are subject to decay and loss. He saw that the control his father had provided was an illusion. This is the crisis many of us face today. We build our own palaces of social media filters, career titles, and material possessions, trying to buffer ourselves against the harshness of life. We think that by accumulating more, we gain more control. But Siddhartha saw the truth. The more you have to lose, the more the world owns you. He realized that our suffering doesn't come from life itself, but from our attachment to things that are destined to change. He saw a monk walking with a calm, serene face, and he understood that the only true Jiangkongan, control, is the one that comes from within. To find that power, he had to strip away every distraction. He had to leave the crown, the silks, and the expectations of his family. He had to become nothing to find the everything. That is the human spirit. For 6 years, Siddhartha lived in the extremes. First, he sought the answer in luxury, and then he sought it in extreme starvation, living as an ascetic in the forest until his body was a skeleton. But he found that pain was just as much of a distraction as pleasure. This led him to his most famous discovery, the middle way. He realized that the path to healing is not through indulgence or self-torture, but through a balanced equanimity. You don't need to leave your home to find the forest. You only need to leave the palace of your ego. Why does his departure matter to you today? Because we are all living in a palace of expectations. We are told that we must be productive, successful, and always happy. We are attached to the opinions of strangers and the fear of missing out. Siddhartha's story is a call to perform your own great departure. It's not about leaving your job or your family. It's about leaving the false idea that your worth is tied to your external circumstances. It's about crossing the threshold of your own fear. True control begins when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable. When you accept impermanence, you stop being a victim of change. When you release your attachment to outcomes, you find the freedom to act with total presence. Siddhartha sat under the Bodhi tree and vowed not to move until he found the truth. He wasn't fighting the world, he was observing it. He realized that the demon trying to tempt him back to the palace was nothing more than his own mind's desire for security. Healing is the act of coming home to the present moment. It is the realization that the peace you are seeking is not at the end of a promotion or at the bottom of a bank account. It is right here, in the breath, in the silence, and in the space between your thoughts. Siddhartha became the Buddha, the awakened one, not because he gained something new, but because he let go of everything old. As you move through your day, look at the things you are holding onto with white knuckles. Ask yourself, is this giving me power, or is it taking it away? Practice the art of the middle way. Be in the world, but not of it. Build your inner kingdom on the foundation of equanimity. For as the Prince of Kapilavastu showed us, The only way to truly possess everything is to have the courage to need nothing. Walk your own path. Find your own truth. The door to the palace is open. You only have to decide to walk through it.